Hi, everybody. Welcome to Patriot Over 50. Why? Because I'm well over 50. All right, I'm glad you're here. Let me tell you what this video is not. It's not clickbait. It's not a theory I pulled out of thin air. And it's definitely not for people who want to stay comfortable. I'm doing this video because something's been gnawing at me. Something I heard from a YouTube creator who's new to me and was put on my radar by Ian Carroll. His name is Baron Coleman. And I'll leave a link to his channel in the description box in this video. Baron is an attorney, and he's been practicing law for around 20 years, he says. He's a relentless researcher and someone who doesn't seem to scare easy. And I, for one, have learned a lot from him recently. So, what he said shook me. Not because it was dramatic, and it's because it made sense in a way nothing else has, or at least nothing in a long time. Now, I'm not here to tell you I have all the answers, but I am here to tell you this. There's a pattern, and if we don't start naming it, mapping it, and exposing it, we're going to keep watching people fall, as in die. Fall physically, mentally, spiritually, and never even understand why. So before I go any further, I want to read you something Baron said, because it's the reason I'm even doing this video. It's long, it's raw, but it's important. So I have that written on word for word, straight from a video that he made. I think it was not the video from yesterday. It was a couple of videos back. So, and I quote, he's talking about something that he wants to reveal to his audience, but he's just not quite ready. He says, this topic has been a topic of debate for 15 years, practically. I would say the last 10 for sure. For 5 years, nobody knew what it was. Then there was like a 5-year run where people were like, I know what it is. I don't know what it is. And then there's been a 10-year run where there's been an intense debate over what it is and what it means. And while I was doing some research on Charlie Kirk, I came across a Twitter post that suggested if we could find out this little piece of information, it might help solve instances like Charlie Kirk's. In other words, maybe they died because of this other issue. And I thought, why is everybody cheesing on Israel? Maybe it's not Israel. Why is everybody cheesing on the deep state? Maybe it's not the deep state. Why is everybody cheesing on Turning Point USA? Maybe it's not them. Maybe it's something to do with this other issue. Who knows? I thought, who knows, I thought. I've never looked into to that other issue, so I start looking into it. And guys, within 30 minutes to an hour, I was pacing in my house. I mean up and pacing, back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, scared to death at what I was seeing. Because this thing has taken on a life of its own, and I don't think people know what I found. So that was number one. Number two, I mentioned in a previous podcast that I had a working theory on what happened at Butler, Pennsylvania to Donald Trump. And someone asked, when will you be ready to go public with that? And the answer is, I don't know if I ever will. It's not Israel, but man, it's the kind of thing that will spook you. Not Israel, not Iran. Those were the big ones everybody was talking about. So I'm not going to cover that, but I am going to cover the other one. Sorry, I can't read my own writing. The other one that, the other one, but I don't want to do it on a day that I have a lot of Charlie Cook stuff to cover, because if I because of that, if I advertise it right, that could bring in a weird crowd, a lot of weirdos in, and I would have to get them caught up on the Charlie Kirk thing, because you're going to bring in a lot of people that don't know what's going on. So I thought that was really intriguing. And so, of course, my wheels started turning, and I'm like, I'm going to throw this into AI and see what AI comes up with. So this is what I got from AI, and it's kind of lengthy, so prepare yourself for the AI ride. Okay. Okay, I know that was a lot, but I needed you to hear it the way I heard it, raw, unfiltered, and full of weight. When he said this thing has taken on a life of its own, it hit me hard, because when I use that phrase, I'm talking about pain. Now, I haven't told y'all this before, but I have a spinal cord injury and traumatic brain injury, and I am in a wheelchair. I have been for 23 years. I had a bad bicycle accident 23 years ago, and it has caused me physical pain that for 23 years I've been dealing with this pain, from my waist down to my toes. It's debilitating. It's horrible. And so when he said it has a life of its own, I kind of knew what he meant. But yeah, my pain is the kind that doesn't just sit quietly in the background. It moves, it breathes, it hijacks your focus, your energy, your clarity, and yes, your life, my life. It's so powerful, it feels like it's living outside of me, but still shaping every moment of my life. That being said, so when he said this thing has taken a life of its own, I knew he wasn't just talking about politics. I think he might have been talking about something invisible but invasive, something that started small, maybe as a theory or a tool, a tactic, but now it's everywhere. It's influencing people, events, even deaths. and most people don't even know it exists. He's not saying this thing pulled the trigger on Charlie Kirk. He's saying it might explain why the trigger got pulled, why Trump looked off in Butler, Pennsylvania to miss the bullet or to just have it catch his ear, or why so many public figures are collapsing, unraveling, or disappearing while the media feeds us distractions. I have to scroll up for my notes. And so that's why I'm doing this video, not to chase conspiracies, but to ask the question. What if the real threat isn't the names we keep hearing, Israel, Iran, deep state, Turning Point USA? It's something deeper, something that's been hiding in plain sight and shaping the battlefield without us even knowing. In the next part of this video, I'm going to start mapping out what this thing might be. It's pure speculation on my part. You might be asking why. Why are you doing this? Well, you might say, why don't you just wait until Barron's ready to reveal it and tell us what he was talking about? Because my mind doesn't work that way. And it, like I said, it's been gnawing at me. I'm just something, I've always been the kind of person that has to figure out how things work. And like, it's hard for me to even enjoy a movie because I'm always trying to figure out, well, how did they do this? Or how did they make that scene work? Or I'm always trying to figure out how things work and can't just sit still and enjoy the movie. So my mind just wants to know. So I'm trying to figure it out before Barron decides to tell us. Oh boy. Let's see, where am I? I'm not doing this out of wild speculation. I'm doing it with patterns, timelines, and real world connections. So let's break this down. This thing, whatever it is, didn't just show up yesterday. It's been evolving. And if we follow the timeline that Barron laid out, we start to see a pattern. The first 5 years, total obscurity. Nobody knew what it was. It was invisible. Maybe it was being tested. Maybe it was being whispered about in fringe circles. But the public, clueless. This is the phase where it was quietly introduced, maybe through tech, maybe through policy, maybe through something biological, but it didn't have a name yet. It didn't have a face. The next 5 years, confusion and curiosity. People started noticing it. Weird symptoms, unexplained deaths, public figures acting strange, but nobody could pin it down. It was like trying to describe smoke. I know what it is. I don't know what it is. That's how Barron put it. And that's exactly how it felt. This is when theories started flying: EMF exposure, nanotech, behavioral programming, frequency manipulation, but nothing stuck because the system wasn't designed to stay, because the system was designed to stay slippery. The last 10 years, intense debate. Now we're in the thick of it. People are arguing over what this thing is and what it means. Some say it's tech, some say it's spiritual, some say it's psychological warfare. And while we're all pointing fingers, Israel, Iran, deep state, Turning Point USA, this thing keeps growing, keeps influencing, and keeps hiding in plain sight. So what could it be? You ask? Let me lay out a few possibilities. Not wild guesses, just patterns that match the timeline and the symptoms. 1, directed energy or neurotech, tech that affects brain function, mood, or behavior. Could explain sudden breakdowns, erratic public comments, even deaths. Invisible, targeted, terrifying. 2. Synthetic biology. Nanotech. Wait, the first one was neurotech. This is nanotech. Biological agents introduced into the body through air, food, or injection that respond to external signals. Could explain why some people collapse while others don't. 3. Frequency manipulation, EMF exposure, using sound, light, or electromagnetic waves to influence cognition. Subtle, pervasive, hard to trace. Could be location-based, like what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania. 4. Mass psychological operations, narrative engineering, priming people for confusion, division, or collapse. Could explain why we're all chasing the wrong enemies. I'm not saying I know which one it is, but I am saying this. Something's been shaping our reality for around 15 years, Barron says. And it's time we stop pretending it's just politics. In the next part of this video, I'm going to start connecting this thing to real world events. Charlie Kirk's death, Trump's Butler moment, and the media's obsession with misdirection. Okay, my little precious cargo, my little puppy, came to see me. It's my baby, long-haired Chihuahua. Good boy, good boy. You're my helper, huh? Okay, how to track it and protect yourself. So now that we've named some possibilities, directed energy, neurotech, synthetic biology, frequency manipulation, psychological ops, let's talk about how to track this thing, because if it's real, if it's shaping events and influencing minds, then we need to know what signs to look for. Sign number 1, sudden shifts in behavior. Watch for public figures who suddenly change, not gradually, not through growth, but overnight. They go from sharp to sluggish, from principled to erratic, from bold to broken. We can name a few of those, right? That's not just burnout, that's interference. Sign 2, unexplained deaths or collapses. People dying young, people collapsing on stage, people found dead with no clear cause, especially when they were outspoken, disruptive, or politically inconvenient. That's not just coincidence, that's a pattern. Sign number 3, media misdirection. We're used to that, right? When the media floods the zone with noise, blame Israel, blame Iran, blame the deep state, blame this person, blame Trump, blame that person, blame Trump. But they never ask, sorry about that. But they never ask what invisible system is operating beneath all of this. That's not journalism, that's narrative control. Location-based, sign 4, location-based weirdness. Certain places seem to trigger strange behavior. Butler, Pennsylvania, Capitol Hill, even certain schools, churches, or hospitals. If people consistently act off in the same locations, that's not just bad vibes, that could be frequency-based targeting. How to protect yourself. This isn't about paranoia, it's about awareness. Guard your mind. Limit exposure to chaotic media. Stay grounded in truth. That's the best advice. Protect your body. Be mindful of what you consume physically and digitally. Watch your environment. Notice patterns. Trust your instincts. Speak boldly. The more we name it, the less power it has. Because this thing, it thrives in silence. It feeds on confusion and it fears exposure. In the final part of this video, I'm going to lay out what we can do together, how to build a movement that's not left or right, but awake, how to reclaim our minds, our communities, our country, because truth isn't just a weapon, it's a revolution. And boy, do we need that right now. Okay. Okay. Now look, I know what you're all thinking. Shouldn't we wait until Baron comes forward with the full story? And maybe you're right. Maybe we should. But here's the thing. When someone that we trust, like Baron or I trust, says, I don't know if I'll ever go public with this, that tells me the stakes are high. That tells me the truth might not come wrapped in a press release. It might come in fragments, in whispers, in the gut punch moments where something finally clicks. So no, I'm not here to break the story. I'm here to prepare for it. Because when it drops, if it drops, we won't have time to catch up. We'll need to already be thinking differently, already be asking better questions, already be awake. So let me talk about something else while I have you here. That was all of that. So I'm launching this new channel, Patriot Over 50, not as a brand, not as a gimmick, but as a space for people who are finished with the tribal games, people who are disillusioned with both parties, people who still believe in truth, in country, in conscience, and people who believe in America first. Okay, I want to have a segment on my new channel, or maybe more than one, just one segment. So I need a co-host. I'm looking for a co-host, someone left-leaning or in the center, not to argue with, but to build with. Because if we don't start crossing the divide, if we don't start naming what's really going on, we're going to lose more than elections. We're going to lose ourselves and we're going to lose our country. That's the God's honest truth. So if you're watching this and something in you is stirring, if you've felt the confusion, the misdirection, the invisible weight, then you're not alone. And you're not crazy. And you're not powerless. We don't need to agree on everything. We just need to agree on this. America comes first. Truth comes first. And we are finished being lied to. So that's all I have for you right now. Please share this video after you like and subscribe. I think I have 2 subscribers. Woo woo. Y'all, I need help. I really do. YouTube's not sending this out. I need some help, you guys. Okay, thanks for stopping by, and I will see you again real soon. Have a great day. Bye now.